Well, you look the part, but let's see some of your moves.
Feeling like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, I'm hunting solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but an answer to, ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carpet nights off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Tell me get myself together, now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carpet night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. I'm putting on my shades to cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading.
There we go. So it's their last Mando Madness, whatever.
For now.
I did forget, Ken. I did put a 360 video of you and me walking around in Philly on Facebook.
Oh, I did not realize that.
It's a 360 video. It says it's labeled 2 guys and a Mando walk into a convention. So it's you, me, and Zoe.
I'll have to check it out.
If you're on your phone watching it, you have to move your phone around to see the 360.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, and I found a 360 video of John and Safi walking into Steel City. So that one I didn't put up in 360. I just put that in.
We'll have to do that if we get to go to Fan Expo together.
Yeah. So, but
I can't get enough of that opening song. By the way, I just think it's so funny.
Yeah. Well, I forgot my mixing board runs it on different channels, so I couldn't hear it, and I had to put my other earbud in to get it. So, thoughts on the Mando? So, if someone's watching this and hasn't seen Mando, I don't know why you're watching this. So,
well, it could be for the 3 of us, just our dynamic personality that is infectious and they can't get enough of.
Yeah, that could be. But you should probably watch Mando because we're going to spoil that crap out of it. What's your thoughts, John? What's your thoughts on the?
I don't know if he could hear you.
And John's having technical difficulties.
We need a pit crew.
I know. John, what's your thoughts on Mando season 3?
Overall?
Yeah. We'll do overall, and then we'll do episodes, because we didn't talk about the last episode.
The last 2 episodes.
Just
lump them all together.
I mean, overall, it's probably my favorite season they've done so far. As a whole. However, I think that season 2 did the overarching story a little better than season 3. But just taking everything into consideration, from acting to music to visuals on screen, I think season 3 is the best so far.
How about you, Mike?
Me? I'd have to agree with John, though I think it's similar to anything. It's just building on top. It's almost like like I'm getting to the point where I can't even judge the seasons anymore, because to me they seem like they go relatively seamlessly together. How about you, Ken?
So here's where I stand on it, and I think that they didn't expect season 1 to be as successful as it was, and so it had that to John's point, that story from beginning to end. You could just watch that, and it would be self-contained to a certain degree. And then they did season 2 and expanded on that a little bit, and then based on that success, they've gotten to this place now where we're just going to keep going until we can't anymore. And so I don't know if each season necessarily has to be a self-contained thing anymore, because even with this season, yeah, you could say there was a beginning and an end of it. However, there were all these offshoots that planted seeds either to connect to other stories like Ahsoka or The Last Jedi, or the prequel trilogy, or even possibly their own thing. So I think the third season, maybe it felt a little bit disjointed, or didn't have as cohesive of a story, because they've realized that they can do so much with it.
I'm picturing a graph now of like different shows. It's going to look like a spider web, you know?
It could look like the timeline from Loki.
Yeah. Well, and they did a lot of throwbacks to the originals, like R5. You know, R5 being the champ at the end, you know, like, and mouse droids. Like,
Mouse droids with
every
police
mouse
lights.
droid builder's like, okay, now we have to put LEDs on those stupid little.
And you gotta have the right sound. You gotta have the right siren.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure someone already has that isolated. Toga is. Have you ever seen Toga's mouse droid?
No.
When you open it
Is
up,
that the one with the mouse in it, right?
yeah, when you open it up, there's a little mouse driving in a cockpit in an Imperial uniform. So, yeah, I mean that alone was cool, you know. And not to mention the armor. John's probably in the same boat as me. You don't know how many people came out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, could you print me this helmet?" And they're sending me screenshots. People
Mhm.
that talk to me like twice a decade of just, you know. So
I have 3 people who want an Imperial Super Commando helmet.
yeah.
So
Yeah, someone said, "Now, how long would it take you to print me a whole suit?" I'm like, I don't have those capabilities right at the moment. I mean, I do, but you know, I'm like,
look, I'm just happy I got my other CR10 fixed.
yeah, good.
So
But
it's making Bo-Katan go by so much faster.
nice. That's you're still planning for your, was that June visit to whatever?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. However, now after this finale, now it's making me want to, continue to improve my Din Djarin.
Oh, definitely.
So especially because I just printed Bo-Katan's jetpack,
Yeah.
and now that it's finally off my printer, I think as soon as I'm done, I think I'm finally gonna bunker down and print the back plate and the jetpack. Because there's one thing where I was like, I don't want to carry a jetpack with me all the time, and then seeing how easily Bo-Katan's attaches and detaches from the back plate, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
god, it'd be so easy.
I think you may have misspelled that. Don't you mean like Droid Probe? Weren't you gonna print that?
Ken, I've got a Westar 35 going, and I've got the Bo-Katan collar armor going. As soon as one of those two are done, I will print the droid scum.
And I have your pistols here too, Ken.
Oh, the Bo-Katan pistols.
Yeah. So
You know I'm playing with you. Please
No,
no.
I know. I need to, now that I've finally gotten back into my like 3D printing kick, I need to just bunker down and do it.
well, that's what, like, my printers need. Mine just need a little TLC. Like, I got to change a nozzle and just do a good clean of my beds. And for those that don't have printers, you just have to be in the right mindset to just, because it's not hard work, but it's just like,
It needs attention, right? You can't.
Huh?
You gotta focus on it, right?
yeah, because if you get in a hurry and you wrench the wrong way and snap a bunch of wires, then you're like, okay, I got to order that $1 part just became a $30 part, you know. So, but yeah, I gotta get back into my printing, because I cleaned up my garage and I was like, I need to get these Tuscan gaffy sticks done and just get a whole bunch of, a bunch of little stuff. But that's what this season was nice, because I felt like it was just such a variety, from the pirates to it reminded us of why we like Din Djarin so much, you know.
Well, and so when the Mandalorian first came out, everyone was like, the volume is amazing.
Yeah.
And then Andor came out, and everyone was like, the volume sucks. And now with this season of The Mandalorian, it's like the volume is still amazing. Like some of those, like you mentioned the pirates, that battle over Navarro with the pirates.
You mean they really didn't do that in real life?
Yeah, like what state were they in when that happened?
They didn't really build a. They didn't really build that giant base in the Grand Canyon somewhere.
I mean, or did they really have a lakeside cave with a giant space crocodile turtle?
Yeah. Well, that's. I don't understand why people with this is another one of my tangents. Why you can't like the volume and like what they did for Andor? It's not like a. It's not like a. It's not like you can only like one thing and you have to hate everything else. Like it's just another tool. It's just another tool in the toolbox.
And didn't they use the volume for Andor? I thought they used it for different stuff.
Oh, I am sure they probably used it more than we know, but they're not going to say because Andor was getting so much like everyone loved the location sets. So they're just going to be like, okay, just don't say anything about that. We'll just, in 5 years, we'll just show them, hey, guess what? This was, because that's what they did with one of the sequels when they had on Skelly Michael. Remember they had Skelly Michael set up. They had that set up somewhere else.
Oh, on Octo, yeah.
On Octo, they had it set up somewhere else, and until they told people, they didn't, because people don't know,
And as much as I love the behind the scenes stuff, like I don't take that behind the scenes stuff, watch the movie, go, oh, here's the spot where they did this, and here's the spot where they did that. So everything before it was awful, everything after it was like it just amazes me that they're able to do it at all. Period.
And I'm liking the I'm liking the red, the Praetorian whatever guys,
the Praetorian Guards.
Yeah, but what do they call whatever the
Praetorian Guards?
I'm getting to like them, and I'm getting to like the survivor ones, like the beat up armor guys that are like that they found in that airship or whatever.
Did the one of them have a B2 head?
I saw a picture of someone. It looked like that. I mean,
yeah, that's
or Super Battle Droid, I think it was.
Yeah,
that's Skinny Pete from Breaking Bad for all those Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah. Oh, is it really cool?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a B2 battle droid head for his shoulder belt. Because I mean, when you're a scavenger, anything.
Yeah, the Mad Max pirate ship.
Yeah. That was a good one. I was only thing when they were in the next last episode when they were ambushed. I was just after watching Bo-Katan fight with that light darksaber, I was surprised she didn't fight with it more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it that was like she could just fight. And then in the last episode I got it when she was flying in and she was just slicing on her way down.
That looked like it was straight out of Clone Wars or Rebels. I mean, it looks so cool and so reminiscent of what they did with the Super Commandos versus the Mandos and stuff.
Yep. Well, it made me remember the episode of Rebels when the ghost was down in a shaft in oh man, what planet was it? Where the bug people lived?
Geonosis.
And those flying stormtroopers were attacking, and then Sabine comes out, throws her jetpack on, and basically just takes them all out. I was like, yeah, that's like one Mando equals about 10 troopers, so that seems about right. My only I was hoping when he asked for the favor at the bar, and did you see Filoni with the High Plains Drifter type hat?
You mean just Dave? It was just Dave Filoni on set. He did
right. He had the flat hat, similar to like High Plains Drifter or
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
No, it wasn't the Good, Bad, and the Ugly because that's not a flat hat. It was like High Plains Drifter or what was the one where it was Clint Eastwood. Yeah, High Plains Drifter. Yeah, I guess it was High Plains Drifter or the other one that came out around 85, 86 had that same flat, almost flat hat.
It'll probably come to me as soon as we finish the episode.
Pale Rider.
Pale Rider, okay.
His was more of a flat.
But it was just funny. It was like they didn't try to jazz him up. It's just Dave Filoni on a Tuesday.
I
Yeah.
like the but I was hoping to favor when he took the IG head. I was hoping to favor we were going to see a Razor Crest with some kind of attachment to carry that little ship. That was my. I was like, please, or bring the rifle back.
Mhm.
Like if I was Din Djarin, that's the one thing I would take all my wealth. I was like, I want one of these built again. Like, was that weapon so rare that you can't get it anymore?
Well, did you notice that a couple things actually? So obviously they stripped him all of his weapons in last
Yeah.
week's episode. He does not have the Whistling Bird's wrist rocket anymore,
Ah,
and he doesn't have his traditional blaster anymore. He's got the two Super Commando
Tucked into his
blasters.
belt.
yeah.
They're not even in the holsters.
So maybe next, whenever we see Din Djarin next, he'll have a little bit different leather setup.
Yeah,
Well, it also makes me wonder if Grogu's going to have a whole different stuff, because they didn't do anything with his little Mandalorian chest shield.
yeah.
So who knows? And they used a little paintball wrist gauntlet. So maybe between this season and next season, Din will help him get some of the new gear.
Now, do we think that we're going to get a season 4 before or after the movie?
I don't know.
When did they say the movie was coming out?
26.
Nah, we'll probably get, well, they haven't started filming yet.
I heard a rumor that they're planning on starting filming at the end of this year, beginning of next.
Yeah, because that's
So-
That's the decider, I think.
that's the one. That's what Zoe is looking at, trying to get on that crew.
Mm.
So I don't know. I just I like the setup that they put him in. Like they literally can do anything with him now. Which is kind of because that's almost like the complaint. Some people are like, well, I just want to see him doing Mando stuff, or I want to see him doing bounty hunter stuff. Well, he's set up that he can just do that. And they could literally, if they have a season of 8, you could have 2 stories that kind of tie into the bigger picture, and the rest could just be these little adventures.
Mhm.
Because I do miss the adventure, like when he was on the ice planet with the spiders.
Mhm.
I do miss that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think introducing the Darksaber, they kind of pigeonholed themselves into you have to focus on the return to Mandalore.
Yeah.
So I think as much as it really hurts because I love the Darksaber as a weapon, I think it was best for them to destroy the Darksaber. That's better for Bo-Katan's story, for the armor story, and I don't like the loophole of giving Bo-Katan the Darksaber at the end of episode 6, which we still haven't talked about that episode either.
Well, I still think though that was a good thing to do because he was bested, like he was beat.
Yeah.
So, like Bo-Katan would have never got it to begin with if Sabine, because Sabine beat those spirits and ghosts and took the Darksaber.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think it's important to recognize that he did it when he needed to. So, for instance, he could have given her the Darksaber when he was in the presence of the armorer.
Yeah.
And he didn't, because in that moment, Bo wasn't attempting to serve as a leader.
Right.
She was, allowing herself to be, one step below the armor and her authority or her station. In that scene with Axe Woves needed someone to be the leader.
Yep.
And so Din had to say that she is the leader. So if you're saying that you need A, B, and C to be respectful of the leader, well, here it is. Now, what are you going to do? How are you going to debate this? How are you going to, go against this? Because here's all the things that meet your criteria for the leader of your group. And Bo is that for you, while she is still willing to be respectful and follow the wisdom and the teachings of the armorer.
Yeah, and honestly, if it wasn't for her, Din would have been dead.
Mhm.
I mean, that Darksaber would have just been laying in the trash with everything else, you know. But
And she didn't have to go save him. That's
right.
the other thing that's very interesting about that episode. When she went to rescue him, she could have very easily just turned to Grogu. Good luck, you're on your own.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I kicked you guys off my planet while I sit here and act all mopey pants.
And if you, and a bigger picture of all of this, everything I bought that week, the Darksaber, the Nerf rifle, and the and the
And the Razor Crest are
and the
gone.
Razor Crest have all been destroyed.
The Amblin rifle.
So, thank,
So 0 for 3
thank
officially.
you, impulse buying.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I also bought that Darksaber. So, but it's still good for Zoe. She can still use it for Sabine. So,
Yeah. Well, did you see the guy we were were you in line when they had the Darksaber and he had the decals on it with the cracks on it? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just like the if you just lump both last episodes together, because it was a fitting death for what's his face,
Paz Vizsla.
that was like a fitting death for him, I guess.
Well, not only was it fitting, it was brutal. I mean, the Praetorian Guard was taking that spear, which, by the way, is the next melee weapon I want to make, and I have to figure out how to light it up like that. But was jabbing it through his collarbone.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, that was reminiscent of Gladiator,
Mm.
the Gladiator movie, when
And they left his body smoking.
Yeah.
Like he was still smoking just like when Queel was killed by the biker scouts.
Yeah.
But you're gonna talk about senseless deaths. The Darksaber and Queel. Those are the two most unnecessary deaths in the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're in a really good spot with how the Mandalorian wraps up. Just to be totally ambiguous of where it could possibly go.
Yeah.
And then with Ahsoka, and with obviously the movie coming out in a couple years, I mean, there is so much to look forward to now, and I genuinely still think Ahsoka is going to blow everything else out of the water.
Yeah, I think so, but I also think Skeleton Crew.
I think it's going to be a big surprise.
I think so. After seeing those clips we saw and seeing those kids up on stage that were just like, because when you hear kid actors, you're like, oh God, what's gonna? And we're just seeing those kids that they were on a different level of kids.
Well, look at Vivian Lyra Blair. I mean, she was quite amazing as little Leia.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we would have heard about her, we were all focused on the boy that was going to be, driving. You know what I mean? But if we would have heard about her, we would have been, oh, it's going to be a cutesy. You know what I mean? And
I think to play dress up.
They set Grogu. I mean, they set Din Djarin up where he can fit into any show now. Mm-hmm. Like literally, he'll be sitting on his porch. Hey, we need a. You know what I mean?
He'll be in Ahsoka. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see. Honestly, I could care less. I mean, I'm excited about all the shows. I just want to see live action Sabine. I've spent so much time making that armor, and especially when I made the first 2 seasons, I spent so much time just poring over detailed pictures of Sabine armor that I just can't wait to see the live action stuff.
Well, I want you to make me one of her jackets. I think that jacket that they showed when she was on Lothal, I thought that was really cool looking.
Yeah, Judah gives Zoe one of the patches.
Oh, really?
She already has the patch for the jacket. I was like, oh, well, that's...
And he just sort of happened to have it. How cool is that?
Yeah, so...
Yeah. Now, looking a little bit to the future, just because I've been thinking about this for the last 2 weeks now, I have my theory on what the Mandoverse movie is going to be called, and I think it's going to either upset a lot of people or it's going to make a lot of people really excited.
Is it going to be called Ray Vision? That'll really upset a lot of people.
I think it'll be
Return
called.
of Finn.
Look, I am so because John Boyega's changed his tune about Star
Dude.
Wars now.
Zoe said this on her podcast, and I like she was saying, if you remember months ago, Daisy Ridley took a picture of the Yoda fountain.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 or 4 weeks ago, John Boyega had the same change of heart. So, you know, he's back in.
He got a handsome check. He got a handsome check.
Yeah.
No, I think the Mandoverse movie is going to be called Heir to the Empire. I keep rewatching the Ahsoka trailer where she says that he's the heir to the Empire. They brought in Captain Pelion from the books. I think that it would. They're building up Thrawn because now that they've killed off Moff Gideon,
Yeah.
they're building up Thrawn to be, the next big bad of this era that we're in. I can't shake it that it's going to be Star Wars Heir to the Empire.
Now, this is what I've been thinking after watching the Ahsoka trailer again and looking at all the promotional stuff. It has the same lines as The World Between Worlds.
Mhm.
Is there going to be parts of that show where Ahsoka's trying to fix things in the past?
I don't think so much as fix things. I think more so of upkeep, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I just wondered that. Because that droid says something like, let's do it again, which I just assumed was training. But then I'm like, wait a minute, what if it's like Quantum Leap, the old show Quantum Leap, where they're like,
So for next week, here's your homework assignment, both of you, and I will give the same assignment to myself. We have to do next week's episode wearing tinfoil hats because as much as I'd like Heir to the Empire, I don't think that that's what the title will be. I think it'll have something more to do with Mandalore. Period.
I think it'll have Mandalore in the name.
Yeah, and because I think, and this isn't to dismiss or discount what you said, John. I think they're gonna hold Thrawn special in the Ahsoka stuff that they're doing for now. Not saying it won't connect to that large Mando universe thing, but I don't know if Thrawn will be the main focus of it.
Well, there's that resurgence of Mandalore. Like, I would say in the mid 90s, there was that big push of Mandalorian stuff. It seemed like in the fandom, like, like everyone wanted Boba Fett, and then you had something like everyone was doing like their own little things. And I wonder if I don't know. I just think it's going to have Mandalorian in the name, because it could be that mythosaur and all that stuff. Like, I just wonder if all the stuff we were left with Bo-Katan and all those people, that's the movie. And Din Djarin, because it did seem like they separated Din from all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you're on your apprentice quest, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
So with that said, this is the one thing that really, really, really confused me today. I had been under the assumption that the name Din Djarin was first name Din, last name Djarin. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then today, when Grogu was adopted, the armorer gave him the name Din Grogu. So is Din a title? Like Padawan, like apprentice? And then followed by the first name. So Djarin, he was apprentice Djarin, or whatever, learner Djarin. Now he's just going to be Djarin, whereas Grogu is now Din Grogu.
I think Din is a surname.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking since he kind of adopted him, like they had that impromptu adoption service right there. I took that as more of like that was his Hinton or his, You know,
So it's last name then first name.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
like your family name, like your, you know what I mean, like your, like
But see, that nomenclature doesn't translate to anybody else. It would have been, Kree's Bo-Katan,
that's true.
or
That's true.
so that's why that's for me the piece that was really
Maybe it's
confusing
just
about
that
it.
nutty cult. Maybe it's just that nutty cult he's in.
Right, but I mean, think about it. Paz Vizsla, I mean, he carries pre Vizsla, Tar Vizsla.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vizsla's the That's what I thought. So I always thought the Djarin was the surname, the last name, and then I thought Din was the first name, not like a title,
Or
but
maybe it's different because he's a foundling.
yeah, maybe wherever he was found from, maybe that's what it is.
Mhm.
Because I don't think it still has been established where Din was found, other than he was found by Death Watch, in like a dumpster.
Yeah, yeah, he was in a root cellar. Yeah.
How
I
many
don't know. That was
how many casual fans do you think are having these conversations?
Probably
well,
three.
we're not talking about scones in the middle of Star Wars Celebration.
Look, had to do something to pass the time. Okay, we're in line a long time.
Oh, I
So
know.
did they have those metal bars separating the rows?
No, they didn't do that this time. They had the it was like the stretch out because those
Uh,
metal bars, people were bumping the whole thing.
I missed that. I've been to 3 celebrations, and every time one of those metal bars would hit the ground, everybody would cheer. I missed that little culture thing of celebration.
I just, oh man, I'm still in like my brain is I just can't get my brain out of celebration mode.
Yeah, I was waiting for that other shoe to drop, but I think because I've been like keeping myself busy with 3D prints, I think that's kind of keeping me in that celebration mode.
Yeah. But now those I like all the helmets we saw. Like I I wish I had 30 3D printers because I want every one of those helmets on my wall. I want the new Super Commando, whatever they are. I want
There were so many amazing variations of
yeah,
things, and there was a couple scenes, and I don't know if they were all actual characters or if they were via VFX characters on screen or not. And quite honestly, I don't care.
yeah.
But there was scenes where it was like 70 Mandos on the screen at one time, and their armor was a different color, or they were mixing the post imperial chest plate with a modern helmet, or a
Yeah,
post
they were
imperial.
probably getting letters from the Mando Mercs. You can't wear that.
Well, I can't even imagine the people who write the CRLs, like, oh, those bastards.
I know.
Well, I don't know if either of you are in the builders group on Facebook, the Mando Mercs builder group. But everyone now is like, okay, so can we wear pauldrons? Can we start mixing armor? Can we do this? Can we do that? I bet you the CRL writers are just having a fit.
Well, I think to speak as a costume person, it's only going to change it for the people making custom Mandos. Like,
Which is most of the mercs.
right.
It's probably 80 to 90% of the
I mean,
mercs.
but that's not going to change. They can still have rules for custom. I mean, I meant to say it's only going to change it for the people that want to make specific costumes. Because they'll probably just say, look, our CRL says this. If you want to do that, then you have to make character X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
Is probably what they'll do just to keep them sane.
Yeah, so I'm very curious. Right now, I think 501st just has Din and Bo-Katan
Right.
as bounty hunters or whatever. Does that mean all of a sudden now 501st is going to have Axe Woves and Casca Reeves and
They
the
probably go under the
armor?
bounty hunter. They'll go under bounty hunters, I bet, because they
Yeah.
were bounty hunters.
But are they also gonna go that same route of allowing those, like you said, the custom ones?
No, they won't let the custom in.
No.
It'll have to be specific. Like the 500 now, Dark Empire would let custom ones in, or the Mando Mercs. That's basically where you get your custom stuff. But the 501st it's supposed to be the whole premise of the 501st is the screen accurate. stuff.
Well, see, now it gets even messier because when you look at some of the screen accuracy, like the plates are floating and the things are misaligned and all of that kind of stuff, or even the modern armor. So the modern armor is the two chest pieces, the center iron heart, and the ab plate.
Yeah.
Well, in Django and Boba Fett, they're attached to a flak vest. They're attached to soft goods.
Yeah.
In the Mandalorian, there were some where those four pieces were secured to something very similar to the post Imperial. So it's even though it looks like four separate pieces, it's really one big piece.
Yeah.
It's just it's multi-layered.
CRLs are going to be, fun.
Axe Wolves already has a CRL.
For the 501st?
Yep.
Cool.
How about Casca Reeves?
Not a posted CRL, but I think her costume is they're working on it in the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Gotcha.
I think that's where the 501st has an advantage over the other ones, is they have so many subgroups that work on the CRL and then pump it up. Where like the Rebel Legion is always a little slow on their costumes because they don't really have all those subgroups like the 501st does. So,
who do you think will be the first person to go as create a costume for the pirate, the Shard pirate, the one that looks like Moss Man, Swamp Thing?
I don't know. I was surprised we didn't see one at Celebration. I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of shocked too.
I'm still going through the pictures, though. I did read in the one of the posts, the guy who was doing Darth Helmet, his helmet got cracked flying back to wherever he lived.
Oh no!
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. My water softener kicking on.
Okay, so Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett CRLs in development are Grief Karga, Gecko, Boba Fett post Sarlacc, Boba Fett repainted from Mandalorian Season 2, Fennec, Cad Bane, Chrysanthemum, Q90, which I cannot wait for somebody to do that costume.
Who?
And that Zero, the droid.
Oh, Tim O'Sullivan already does.
Does he?
Yeah.
Huh. But those are the only ones that they have active development CRLs for. Other than that, nothing else for Book of Boba or for Mandalorian.
I'm surprised that they didn't do an updated Tusken because they had various. I think they had. Was it Attack of the Clones Tusken, A New Hope Tusken?
Well, this is just the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Oh, just about okay.
Yeah.
However,
set my water softener off so it doesn't go off in the background. Hang on.
Yeah, Ken, to your point though, they there is a Mandalorian Season 1 Tusken, but there is not an approved Book of Boba Fett Tusken yet.
Okay, because there was at least 3 different ones for that. There was the Chieftain, the Warrior. Actually, they could do 4 if you count the kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because the Mandalorian Tusken is no different than your original trilogy, prequel trilogy Tuskens.
Yeah, the main ones. Yeah, that's true.
Woof, they need to update their forums. This is a blast right out of 1999.
All right. Apparently, it won't shut off. So.
Oh,
It's not loud. It's not loud enough to.
yeah.
Okay.
We can't really
It's
hear
loud
it.
here. I got the mic turned away from it.
Yeah, Great Clan.
But I was also surprised at Celebration. I only saw like 1 or 2 of the Tusken Woman Warrior from Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I thought we'd see more. Honestly,
See, I still am of the mindset of I would like the 3 of us and at least 3 other people to go dressed as Tuskens and at some point just break out into that fire dance routine.
Yeah.
Like if there's an opening in the floor, the 3 of us just start doing that dance that they did when they inducted Boba into the tribe.
Yeah, we have to have the music on our acre. We can
Yeah.
flip it on and start. I did like the drums that the Mandos had at the end because
Well, the drums and the banners and everything.
they had that same drum when they did the march in London. There was someone banging a drum.
Mm-hmm. However, I did learn that march is for
Fallen soldiers.
fallen members. Yeah.
Yeah, fallen. Yeah,
Or
it's actually called the Death March.
Oh, yeah. I just learned that over the weekend.
Any more to say about Mando, and then we can move on to troop time because I know you guys troop timed it.
I'm just so happy. I'm so glad that we have this much stuff coming to us, and I'm hopeful that they do a gallery special soon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where they do some of the behind the scenes stuff because I love that. And there needs to be another Art of book. We don't have an Art of Boba Fett, and I haven't heard anything about Art of Mandalorian season 3.
Mm.
And my bookshelf still has a little bit of space here for some more art books.
They did announce Mando season 2 art of.
Oh, I have that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did I see today?
Yeah, it's right here.
Nice.
Well,
I'm fancy pants.
Maybe it was season 3. I saw an art of Mandalorian book
Okay.
that they
I
were
gotta
doing
check
for
that
Mando
out.
Mania.
All right. Well, let's talk troop time.
Yeah.
I didn't troop at all, so I'll let you guys go.
Ken?
So I was lucky enough to participate in the Autism Acceptance Day event that they had at the Philadelphia Zoo on this past Sunday. And I was the only Mandalorian there in costume. I was there with members of the Garrison Carita from Pennsylvania, and there was a couple of representatives from the Northeast Remnant, which is, I think, New York and New Jersey. I think I'm not 100% sure. And it was so much fun. Heather came along. She was a squire or handler, and it was just a fantastic 2+ hours. There was 3 biker scouts, 2 TIE pilots. Our buddy Dan went as the Emperor. Our other buddy Marty went as Chewbacca. One of our friends, Barry, came as Ventress, Asajj Ventress.
That's a good Ventress.
She has an amazing Ventress costume. She also has a custom Mando, so she's in the Mandalorian merch as well. And I'm trying to think what other costumes were there. Oh, a Jawa and a Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. Kids were coming up. They had all these booths and stuff set up around the zoo and different. They had other costumers there. Like I got a picture with some Disney princesses, and there were Ghostbusters there. But this one little guy came up and he had this. It might have been 2 inches tall, a little astronaut figurine. And he kept coming up to all of us and showing us his figures. And look, it's you, because I had a helmet on, and it was absolutely positively fantastic. The weather was like 70 something degrees, sunny. I think I got a million high fives, 2 million fist bumps, and more hugs and that I can count. It was a phenomenal day. How about you, John? What did you end up doing this past week, troop time wise?
Well, I thought I was going to die from heat stroke, but
Okay.
we, my dad and I, went to. There was a first time convention down in Worcester, Ohio, and it was the first time they'd ever put on a convention in this. It was at the Wayne County Fairgrounds in a building that they had just built a couple years ago. So they did a really relatively small convention that should have been small, but really blew up because they brought in the cast from The Sandlot as well as Daniel Logan.
Oh, nice. Did you get to meet Daniel Logan?
I did not. No, he had a line out the door. I mean, everyone else, all of the other guests they had there were probably like, am I going to get anyone? Like, I mean, The Sandlot's a cult classic to many. So, but nah, Daniel Logan, he was the hot commodity. So, But the highlight of the day, other than trooping with my dad, had to have been that we finally found his fifth AT-AT.
Oh, nice.
So now we have all five. The only thing it's missing are the two chin guns,
Oh, okay.
but we have all five AT-ATs now.
At a
Yeah, so
reasonable price, I hope.
at the best price I have seen in 5 years.
Nice.
So, and you know, of course, I did a little bit of haggling with the guy, so got it a little bit less than what he wanted. So,
Beautiful.
but yeah, so we were there with the obviously the Ohio Garrison, and then it was the first time I've ever seen the Rancor clan.
Oh, okay.
They had a table next to us. So there was probably three or four Mandos, and then we had Krennic, obviously Krennic and Kylo with me and my dad. We had a Clone Wars Obi-Wan, a Kashyyyk Scout, a Grand Admiral, legacy character, not Thrawn. We had the Grand Admiral's wife. She brought out her Bo-Katan for the first time.
Oh, that's
So it's not approved, but they wanted to do a test run before actually submitting it.
That's the nice thing about cons. You can kind of, you know,
Yeah, so I mean, it was your run of the mill, like small convention troop. So nothing super special about it, but yeah, it was. We had a Boba Fett there too, which he got to go, like he cut in front of everyone just to pose for a couple pictures with Daniel Logan. So
yeah. Oh, nice.
so that was cool. But yeah,
well, Daniel has a suit he travels with once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I thought it was funny. My dad made the comment about it because his little backdrop was him as young Boba, but behind him was not Django. It was Return of the Jedi Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
So my dad's like, "Wait a minute, shouldn't that be Django?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but he also does the Boba Fett costume now." So yeah, it was a nice troop. And then I got another one coming up on Friday. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It's a Ronald McDonald House pull tab event. So
nice.
Yeah, we've got one in Akron and then one in Cleveland. So I'm gonna do the one in Akron so I don't have to drive an hour.
We have an armor party this coming weekend.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'll get together with a bunch of the PA Mandos.
Nice. Yeah, we have. I'm looking at the May 4th schedule.
Oh my God!
I'm like, because like everything that it's either during the school day or it's like at 5:00, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get to any of them because we have. So I gotta just look at May 4th. But
Yeah, my sister just asked me today. She was like, "Hey, what do you think the odds if my work wanted to do a Star Wars event on May 4th?" I'm like, "Good luck."
2024.
Yeah,
What was it the C-3PO said? The odds of surviving a trip into a meteor, an asteroid?
3,720 to 1.
Yeah, and then we have Free Comic Book Day that Saturday.
Which I looked, we don't have any events for up here. So I was a little disappointed about that. But she told me, like, she was like, yeah, but it would be during the day. I'm like, well, I mean, it would be a hard push to get people to sign up to do double duty, but like, we don't have anything during the day. Everything is like 5:00 and later.
Yeah.
So, but I told her, like, we've got like 6 events just in the northern part of Ohio. So tell your boss to put in for it, but don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
And after we did the troop at the zoo, we all went out and had lunch together. Well, not all of us, but the majority of us. And it was just nice catching up and hanging out. And
that's the best part. Like, not the best part, but that's the part I miss. When we used to troop, it was almost like you just automatically went and like everybody did,
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, it just kind of died off, and hopefully that's coming back,
Yeah,
I know. So Justin and his wife were there, and so they corralled a handful of us. When I say a handful, I mean like 12 of us or something like that.
Yeah, I know they did one after our troop on Sunday, but my dad and I had to call it early. because my feet were killing me. I was sweating buckets. So I had to tell him, like, hey, we should, as much as I'd love to stay for a 10-hour troop,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to last much longer.
But when we first started trooping, we'd do a 2-hour troop, and then we'd stay for each for like 5 hours. Like we sat at a restaurant one time. We were done the troop at noon. I think we left the restaurant at 6.
Yeah.
Just all sitting around. So that's cool.
Yeah. So, Ken, are you going to start working on Bo-Katan here soon?
Yeah, that's what we're going to start this weekend. Yeah, when we get up to that troop in Pennsylvania. Although we're trying to figure out which pieces we start, because the armor pieces that Heather picked up, some of them have already started painting. The helmet, the visor needs to be cut out, and the keyhole slots in the back need to be put in, because it's a resin cast, both things.
Oh, that's nice.
And so, yeah, it's a really, really nice thing. But I was telling Heather, I'm like, we have to really think this through. Do we want to work on painting something at this armor party and then drive 2.5 hours home with that freshly painted whatever in the car with us?
Yeah.
So are there other things that we could possibly work on, during the armor party? And we have a friend, Barry, the one who does Asajj Ventress. She's going to help Heather put together her soft goods, her flight suit, and all of that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
So, and I really, really, really want to make sure we plan this out so that we don't get overwhelmed, and we don't, neither one of us feels rushed where we make a mistake, because it is such a nice kit that I don't want to mess it up for her.
Yeah. Well, and with painting, sometimes it's just best to like get everything ready and paint it all at once, because especially around here, if the humidity's off, the same paint will be a different color.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that doing Sabine. Like, it's just like, okay, I got to get the helmet ready and do all the armor, the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm trying to get everything printed first, so that way I can finish everything and then paint everything all at once.
Yeah.
So the helmet's really going to just be the tricky part with the night owl on
Dude,
the forehead.
Did you see the pink one I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
What I did was I got the logo for Cricket. I'll find it for you and I'll send it to you. And I printed it on the Cricket. Then I painted the helmet all one color, gray first. Then I put the things on, and then I peeled them off. Like, I didn't use them as stickers. I just used them as stencils.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out so nice. So.
And you didn't have any bleed. You didn't have any bleed under when you.
No, so when you put the stencil down, then you clear coat it, and you let that sit. Then you paint it, because then the clear coat seals any of the bleed is clear coat. Then when you peel that off,
And use a matte clear coat for that?
No, use gloss, because if you put gloss over matte, or if you mix gloss, that's a lot of times where you get the orange peel.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using gloss, use all gloss. Don't,
Okay.
You can use, I think you could use satin, but you don't want to go matte to gloss. So,
Gotcha.
check out Jeff Parks on Facebook. I forget what he's a friend of mine. He does painting of his helmets, and he does 360 views of them.
Really?
And his Bo-Katans are as good, if or better, than the television show. So, and now you have the Hasbro one, right?
Oh yeah, we have it.
The Hasbro gives you a good paint detail too.
Yeah.
But when you get the painters, I'll find the file somewhere of the stencils. I can cut you stencils for it.
Okay.
And you stick them on. And like I said, if the pink one I did came out really nice, and I wasn't even trying.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, we want to get started on Heather's Bo-Katan, and at the same time
Now,
not get too wrapped up in it because she's also still doing her coursework, and so I don't want to start something that she'll have to start and stop kind of thing.
yeah. Now, I forget if I asked or not. Is it a realistic or is it the animated?
I think it's realistic. I'll have to double
Okay.
check.
Yeah, because the animated is like a bodysuit with those little armor pieces like stuck to you.
Hmm. Yeah, Ken, I'll have to when I print your droid scomp, I will I'll send you the season 3 shoulder belt too.
Oh, the one with the mythosaur.
Hmm. Yeah,
Oh, that
I wanted to test out the Mike. You'll know more about this, but the modeling paste.
Yeah.
RG Brea. I think we're both friends with her on TikTok. She
Yeah.
just did the C3PO.
Yeah.
She's the one who does that, and I mean, I have never finished a piece quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally I got all of the smoothing done in one
Where'd
day.
you get that paste at?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
it's
However,
called modeling paste.
it's called Liquitex modeling paste. You add like I'm using like one of the small Tupperware containers, and then just putting it in there. Just add a splash of water to thin it out a little bit, and I mean, I started with a base coat of filler primer, which apparently nowhere around here sells anymore. So I
Oh, I
need to
know.
try.
God, it's like $10 a can now when you find it.
Yeah. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do for filler primer now.
Just use liquid resin.
Yeah, but is that going to have the same like finish as the filler primer?
You brush it on with a brush, hit it with your UV light, and
Mhm.
it'll sand. You'll be amazed, and it's not coming off.
I'll have to. I've got plenty of resin.
Yeah,
So
I just use my old resin for my prints. Because you're not supposed to. So I'm like, I did. I think I did my Boba Fett armor plates with it, and it came out nice.
I'll have to try that then. But yeah, so I did one layer of the filler primer. I sanded down some of the high spots. One layer of the modeling paste, and then 2 more layers of um the filler primer, and then I wet sanded it all. And that was it. That's all I did. Usually it's 2 or 3 runs of Bondo and
Yeah.
20 different coats of filler primer. But I mean, you saw how it turned out. I mean, it was there are a couple spots that I'm not happy with, but it kind of gives it more of a rigid look to it, where it's not like they're not like layer lines. It's more of just like rough spots from where I didn't sand completely.
Well, try also Duplicolor does make a filler primer, but you have to. But you'll pay $17 for the small can of that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I know Summit Racing sells the Rust-Oleum filler primer, and they sell the sandable primer, but I need the 2-in-1 is just
Yeah.
perfect because you can wet sand it so easily.
I love my wet sanding.
Yeah, Ken, is all this just going straight at you and hitting you in the face?
Well, it's making me want to do stuff. It's been
I put the statue I'm working on in the chat and Facebook.
What happened to him?
No, it's just a piece of his face, and it's going to stand on a rod.
That's the other thing that that mold you gave me has just been sitting in my basement for the last 10 months. I want to do something with it, but I found files for the hands,
Yeah.
but they just don't look right.
Well, I think I found the same ones. You have to cut them off.
Oh.
They stick out too far. You have to cut them off. That's all.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So, here we're actually talking about
Costume corner.
Costume corner.
Yeah.
Costume corner. There we go. So,
Yeah, I got
I think I've-
my.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I've got my Super Commando helmets all done printing. I put the first layer of the modeling paste on it today. I'm so excited to dive into that one tomorrow. But yeah, it's I really think Celebration just kind of like thrust me back into that mood where it's just like I need something to work on.
Well, you get surrounded by so many great pieces, so
Yeah.
many great things that have been done, so many things that you probably wouldn't have thought of making, and people made it. Like the Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn kind of thing.
oh
Mhm.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I saw Ghost. Did I see Ghost?
we've seen Ghost Luke Skywalker
Ghost
before.
Luke, and then the Qui-Gon. He's from Western Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He's a friend of mine, and he was in. I posted up on Facebook. He was on every picture. Like at Chicago, it was Ari Stone. He's at Starkiller Base 2. Ari was the stormtrooper in the floaty with the flippers on, and at Chicago, he was on every time there was someone did a pictures, he was in it. And so that's how this Qui-Gon is. Qui-Gon's in every one.
Well, because he did Ghost Qui-Gon and behind the scenes Qui-Gon,
yeah.
with the umbrella and
Oh, the rainbow umbrella and the sunglasses.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I've somehow managed to take a page from the Mike Hinton costume collection. So I've got the Post Imperial still has to be worked on. The Tusken Raider still has to work on. Got to get started on Heather's bow. Want to work on Pinto Din, and now after season 3 of Mandalorian, there's just
I should just mail you everything I have for you so far. Because I have everything but the lower legs, which I just got to kick the printers back up on. But
I have mine.
Plus, I just bought a Krennic costume that just came in today.
there you go.
That's the same. I hope you know that's the same one that my dad and I both have.
That's fine.
So
I do have to get
the Velcro.
No, mine's not Velcro. Oh, the Velcro.
The rank bar.
Yeah, the rank bar. Yeah.
Yep. It's a really nice costume. I mean, well, it's a nice costume for the upper half. The pants are garbage.
I got to get the cape hemmed a little bit though, because it's the one that I bought to fit me. It drags on the ground, and I don't want it to drag on the ground.
My dad has had the same problem. I can send you a link to the Jodhpurs that we both got. Because I think they're like $40.
For the what? Sorry,
the Jodhpurs, the pants.
Oh, okay, yeah. Please do, and in the same thing. Send me the link for the Liquitex that you use. That way, I make sure I use the same stuff.
I just got the all the netting for Gunji.
Oh boy. Oh, Marty's gonna have a field day with you in that
No,
one.
he's going to show Zoe or Safi and Missy how to latch hook it.
Really?
I'm not taking on any new project. So,
You have to get Vader done.
Yes.
Before Steel City in December.
SteelCon, right?
SteelCon, which my dad is begging me to go in December.
Well, listen, right now, go on there at the DoubleTree and just book every weekend for a room, and then just once you find out, get rid of them because it's probably full already.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But yeah, so
yeah, Marty's been bugging me to go to AwesomeCon in DC.
That's DC, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like my wallet's still hurting from London, so I just got all my charges just finally came through. I'm like, holy crap!
Yep, mine hit.
Exchange rate killed us.
Because
Marty was oh, this only cost this much. I'm like, no.
I only bought a T-shirt and my wallet hurts.
Yeah. So,
how about podcast time? Do you have any room for that tonight?
Yeah, we do. What do you got? Podcast? I listened to you and Dex. It was awesome.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Dexter's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
He really is. It was a delight in being able to interview him. So I'm making arrangements to interview Steven Pershing, the other member of the Rad Batch.
Yep.
I'm in the process of making arrangements to interview NYC, that musician that did the new intro music for the forces behind Star Wars. I'm going to be on a podcast this Friday called The Pod Awakens.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so the gentleman who does that show, his name is Jordan, and he had put something on one of the Facebook podcasting pages saying he was looking for guest hosts, and I ended up talking with him last night for a little bit just to make sure that the software that we were using connects okay. And so this Friday we're going to be getting together to talk about Return of the Jedi, and then next Friday, April 28th. Dexter, Anthony, and myself, if things go right, will be broadcasting live from the Tilton Square Theater in Northfield, New Jersey, from 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 8:30, because that's one of the theaters in the area that is showing the Return of the Jedi. And so I put in some requests to see if we can get some Star Wars costumers there, and we're going to do our very first live episode of The
Nice.
Forces Behind Star Wars, where we're going to talk about none other than Return of the Jedi. So it's been a busy week making some of these arrangements and stuff. So
Yeah, you know what? I replied to the gentleman too. The
oh,
pod.
so the Pod Awakens guy.
So
to Jordan?
he must rank better than me because I didn't get a call.
Well, that's because you don't promote our podcast. You just promote Zoe's.
I did. I think I promoted ours for that. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Well, what's interesting about Jordan is he, in addition to the Star Wars one, he's involved in like 2 or 3 other ones as well. So maybe just a matter of.
Was that on Facebook or was that on Instagram?
It was Facebook that I saw it. I can't remember which one of the podcasting groups that he had posted it up in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so
only thing
that'll-
I got. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it'll be interesting to just hang out and chat with him this coming Friday.
Now, what software is he using?
StreamYard?
Oh, yeah.
I think that might be what Steven used when we recorded the Georgies.
Because before I paid for Restream, I had a test one of StreamYard and Restream. And Restream, it was basically the same price, but Restream, for the features I wanted, it had more.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think the only thing I've got right now is I need to actually sit down and record my celebration debrief.
nice.
And then I've been meaning to reach out to Dexter and see if I can't get him on one of these days.
Oh, he would love it. Absolutely.
So
How about your newfound friend?
I have not lobbied that question. However, they are quite busy, so I don't want to throw something else on their plate. So, but yeah,
I can't
Mike,
wait for your debrief.
what about Zoe?
Huh?
What about Zoe? I saw she just did her celebration debrief.
Yeah, she did it with Octo Radio. So yeah, that was a good one. That was a 2-hour one. That was
Wow.
Wow, she's learning from the Inflatable Falcon.
yeah.
Going the distance.
Wow, yeah, it was a good one. I mean, it was do it while it's fresh in your head though, man, because it's starting to all blur together. Is like I don't know what day we did what.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I was just going to say to you guys earlier when you were still talking about Celebration to do a little outline that way. Because you guys, even as wacky as this might sound, the fact that you had all of those hiccups beforehand that you just rolled with and kept going and so on. Those make for some great fireside stories or lunch conversations or whatever.
I still can't believe they wouldn't let us pack a room.
Yeah.
Like if you bought a double room, you could have 2 people. And so we had 3 keys to our room, so our keys kept knocking each other's keys out. So we had to go and they never put 2 and 3 and 2 together, and there was 3 different people in this room.
Well, I think that just seems like very, very strange to me. I don't understand
It
how
was
that.
odd to me that they were worried about fire regulations in our hotel. We went 2 blocks down the street into XL Center, and it was shoulder to shoulder people. Like I'm like, really? And we had a humongous room.
Yeah. I mean, we could have packed everyone in that room.
Yeah. So,
but
wouldn't have been worth it just from the pain in the neck with keys.
Yeah.
It would have just been a nightmare because we kind of all traveled our own ways in a sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marty wasn't getting up early with us, and John wasn't getting up early with us the one day. You know what I mean? And then Safi went and explored parts of London on her own. So that would have been a nightmare if we had to play key roundup.
I was just thinking about this because everyone's posting their pictures now.
Yeah.
There was only one time where all 5 of us were together. And it was that one night that we were in the lobby of the hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I still can't get over the fact that you went all the way to London and the first place you ate was McDonald's.
Well, and then because we're all picky eaters, there's many times we had to go get food at 5 different places, and we had like a mod like like there was a pizza place, but then some of us got food at other places.
Did any of you have curry while you were there?
I don't think so. I think Marty and I are the only ones who got fish and chips.
Oh, we got curry at the bowl place. There was that little bowl, but you couldn't eat in. Like almost all the stuff in Canning Town, except for the one pizza place, had no seating. It was like you just ordered it and you had to go out and eat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe they just don't like loiterers. They figured that you guys would just be sitting there for hours and hours and hours.
Well, you had the biker gangs of the food. There was literally just rows of bikes outside the McDonald's and stuff, just delivering. Like it was like DoorDash and Uber Eats.
Yeah, I haven't fully processed everything from that weekend. So
and that's why I think you should write it down. That way it'll help kind of put all those parts together.
You didn't go to the O2 with us though that night.
Mm-mm.
That place was humongous, and it was literally like a shopping mall, like here in the States, but it was all food, and it was built around the big like opera house, but the opera house wasn't open. There was no opera or whatever going on. But it was just restaurant after restaurant after restaurant.
Yeah, which looking back on it, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I know my wallet really would have been hurting.
Oh, I paid $17.95 for pounds for a Gordon Ramsay burger, for a vegan burger. It was good, but it wasn't.
I bet
a $25 burger.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's a Disney burger right there.
Oh man, I got hit with those at last celebration. It was like $79 for 2 burgers and 2 shakes.
Right.
So
yeah, we're still talking about the possibility of going to Japan.
Yeah, I the Tokyo. If I knew my schedule, like if I don't know if I had the same schedule I have this year, it would be doable because I'd have enough days off. But you have to bookend a day at each end just for travel. Because it's 20 hours of flight time, which means it's putting you over a day in airports and all that stuff.
Oh man.
So that eats up 2 of my days right there. So,
but on the bright side, it's only 3 days.
Yeah, but if my spring break was like it is like it's been the last 20 years, except for this year, I probably wouldn't be able to go because I wouldn't have enough days off. And I love Celebration, but I can't get fired. Also, I don't like some people are like, oh, just take sick days. Well, yeah, then I go somewhere and I can't post pictures up. You know, like
Yeah.
you can't just be sick on Friday and all of a sudden, hey, guess what? I'm in Tokyo today.
Is it about time you retire anyway?
No,
Don't you have tenure?
that doesn't. That's a misnomer. Tenure just means it takes them about 6 months to fire me, as opposed to firing me on the spot. So,
Well, I mean, Supreme Court justices can't get fired. Why do they able to fire teachers?
well, teachers right now I probably couldn't get fired because they can't find anyone to do it. But the pendulum will swing back, and then we will be the bane of everyone's existence again. But yeah, the Tokyo stuff. I mean, I'll probably figure out a way to at least send somebody. You know, it just depends on what Zoe's doing. I don't know where she'll be living, what she'll be doing. You know, Safi will be a senior in college then. So
Yeah. Well, hey, look, neither of us thought we were going to be at Celebration London.
true,
So,
might hit the lottery. You know,
right. It could all work out. So I know I'm going to try and go, but obviously, you know, that's 2 years away to the day.
yeah.
So,
Well, it's going to be the hotel and the airfare is going to be the hard hit things.
yeah. That one's gonna hurt.
I'd say I'd make plans with you to go to Tokyo, John, but I don't know if that would work out well.
Yeah.
But the Bantha Tracks guy, he told me, oh, just make sure Zoe applies again because he's one of the guys that helped decide who's on the stage.
Mm.
The guy the big tall guy that was watching up there.
Yeah. So in other words, you need to make sure you reach out beforehand. So when we put in for the best Scar Bucket, the Inflatable Falcon, the Rambling Star Wars Fan, the Forces Behind Star Wars, and Star Wars Geek Girl, you need to throw our names out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I, as much as it was nice they opened up 2 stages, so they must have got enough people that they opened up, 2 stages. Plus, you had the collector stage, so technically they had 3 stages running of just fan stuff.
And all the people showed up for their things.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. And do we have anything? I know we've talked about it, sort of briefly, doing something potentially at the upcoming Fan Expo in Philadelphia.
I haven't heard, so I'll probably do a follow up. I should have probably done one today. It's just again, my mind is still like I'm still trying to catch up on work and everything, and my mind is still mush. But I should send them a message and see if they have anything, because there has to be a con somewhere, that we could do something.
Well, didn't Keith and Kerwin do one there last year?
Yeah, but his wife, Keith's wife, is like a marketing genius. I think that's what she does for a living. But yeah, that's a nice setup there. They have a nice setup because they give you actual technicians. Like, you don't have to do anything. The technicians run it for you.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they have the screens set up and they have someone run it all right there for you.
Oh, so we could do, if we wanted to, like, visuals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which we could have at Celebration too. We
could have done
horribly
visuals.
underprepared.
We just didn't want to carry a laptop. When I submitted, because they asked me, and I said, no, we're just doing audio because I just didn't want to carry a laptop. If I knew Safi was bringing her laptop, I probably would have done visuals, but and they had a laptop there for it. See, they didn't say last time they just said they had a hookup. They actually had a laptop there we could have used.
Speaking of that, what gear should we bring to that podcast at the movie theater?
Well, you need something to record it. Now, are you broadcasting live with like a?
That's what Anthony wants to do. That's what he said so far.
The main thing, if you're going to broadcast live, you got to check the Wi-Fi connection, because that's what killed us at Celebration. Like, you couldn't get a signal out at all. It was just, and then if like if you use this, like if you use something like Restream, it'll broadcast live, or you can just flip it to record too.
Okay.
So like if we lost our stream, we would still be able to just record this. It just records.
Gotcha.
So, like I think when I broadcast is always live at when she got inducted. I think I bought it was like a $79 HD camera, and I ran it right into a laptop and just streamed it right out to YouTube.
And how did you hook up the different microphones?
I think with that one, I just had a shotgun mic pointing at it. I just had a shotgun mic because it was just her and one other guy.
Okay.
So, if you need a hookup mic, then you'll need a small mixing board of some sort. Which I have. I just don't know how I can get it to you. I have but you can get. Hang on a sec.
Mike's always got goodies. Every single week, I swear, he pops off camera. Like, hold on, let me
got
run
this
it real
thing.
quick. So I can only imagine.
Oh, okay.
So this is what I got when the girls first started. We had so many issues. So now this one has just one mic input, but it has RCA inputs too. So depending on the mics, like if you're using like Yeti mics and stuff, I think the Yeti mics there's an earphone jack on the bottom of a Yeti. You could run that in through these, but any kind of little mixing board similar to this. And I have one slightly bigger. If you're how many of you are going to be there?
It'll be 3 of us: Anthony, Dexter, and myself.
Hang on. Let me look one more time.
Here he goes again.
He's got to look in the other box. It's probably under a protocol droid head.
Yeah. God knows he's got plenty.
Oh, geesh.
That's slightly bigger.
Yeah, this one has, but see, this one only has 2 mics too. Whoops, right here. This has two SLR mics. But it does have auxiliary ends too. Again, you can make one of these work. You don't want to be working on it. This will hook right into a computer and split all your mics and give you a signal and stuff like that. But you need something to catch all the mics.
Gotcha.
Either that, or you're just going to have to use, depending. Again, if you use like a Yeti mic, I think there's a setting on there in the book where it picks up a circle around the mic, and so
the 3. If we're sitting at a table, the 3 of us,
like a half circle facing out, as long as you're all equal distance from the mic, or the people that are slightly farther, just project their voice.
Okay.
I mean, if you guys want to take a road trip, we can look at all my. I got drawers of this stuff.
John and I were just joking while you stepped off camera that you were reaching into a box under a protocol droid's head to pick up some of these things because you had so many different things.
Oh yeah, no, I have this. I have the giant mixing board, which again, my giant mixing board will probably eventually be replaced by this. Just because I don't really need multiple inputs. But you just need something to just split the mics off of. And again, I think this one was like $60 or something like that. So if you just look on Amazon, this is USB powered plugs. Yeah, this is I don't know, it's a XENYX 302. I just bought this one because that's what Mike Pilot told me to buy. When we first were having problems because we had one computer with Skype and this and that, he's like, just buy one of these and plug it in this way, and it saved our bacon. But
Yeah, so this is either going to be really, really fun or it's going to be a disaster. I'm leaning towards it being really, really fun.
You'll be fine. Like I said, if you get one good Yeti mic and a computer, you'd be surprised what a Yeti can pick up. And I have extra Yetis too. I think I have 2 Yeti mics too.
Yeah, well, I know Anthony has a Yeti snowball. I have a Yeti snowball.
Yeah, you want. I think it's this one.
Okay.
I think there's a setting again. If these are the settings, I don't know.
Oh, gotcha.
You can set this to just pick up an area.
Gotcha.
Colin was way better at that. That's what Colin went to school for. But it's not. I think you might even, if you go to Staples, check their clearance, because during COVID they had influencer things on the end of the things. It came with like a mic that lit up, and it came with a mini mixing board and stuff. But a lot of that's going on clearance now.
Oh, okay. I'll
And
have to
you
check
might
that
be
out.
able to find, like, you just need something that you can plug multiple mics in if you want multiple mics.
Yeah, unfortunately we haven't. The three of us haven't been in one place at one time to talk through the details of it. But
I think the snowball, you honestly, what you do is plug your snowball in and get your wife to check, like when you're talking, sit directly in front of it and just talk your voice and look at the levels, and then leave the mic there, just move where one of them would
to
sit,
where one of the other people would be.
and just see if the levels are fine. Then just the simplest way to do it is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And then you don't got to carry all that stuff. You just carry a laptop, you know.
Yeah,
And
the
is the
snowball.
room- Go ahead. I'm
The
sorry.
snowball mics are great. I used to have one before I switched to my Razer mic.
Yeah.
But yeah, they pick up a lot.
I have this
So-
mic I got from Mike Pilot. I don't know when I priced it, it was $179 or something like that. So,
And is there any truth to the rumor that Karita Cast is coming back?
there is. I'm trying. I just Colin he moved, so he lives near Hanover now. And he just was like, COVID hit. It's just like a whole bunch of stuff hit at the same time. And for some people, COVID made doing all this easier. For us, it seemed like it just added stressors, because I was sitting on teaching all day and he was like not working as much. You know what I mean? And the last thing you wanted to do after, because I literally would sit in this same exact spot and teach for 6.5 hours or more. And then the last thing I want to do is go back and sit and do it again in the evening. So yeah, I just got to reach out to him a couple more times and get it.
Yeah, because Justin was talking about that at the zoo the other day.
Yeah, well, he asked me if we were going to bring it back. My thing with KaritaCast is we concentrated on the costumes, and then we did the fun stuff with the Shakespeare. So I want to see how we can meld that together, but not be just another show like this, like our show. You know, so I got to look back at because our main push was, it was just 2 stormtroopers that were trooping with the 501st, and we like to talk, you know. And
Well, I mean, you could, considering that there seems to be not a resurgence, but a renaissance, if you will, of various costuming clubs and the people that are involved. And so who knows, maybe it's one of those things where this week we're going to talk about TIE pilots, and we're going to not just talk about the costumes of the TIE pilots, but get, like there were now that I'm talking out loud, there were 2 TIE pilots and someone who dressed as Iden Versio.
Yeah.
In her TIE pilot costume. So, so we're going to talk about TIE pilots with a TIE pilot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
that's what I think that's what we'll get back to. I mean, we spent a whole episode just talking about all the different Vader helmets.
Ugh. So what? That was like a 6-hour long show.
No, we were much tighter with our time,
Clearly, that has not translated well.
No. But yeah, it's just I just got to get back. We were also on the cusp of when it was still kind of hard to do a podcast. like we were using clean feed, which was fine, except imagine us talking and not being able to see each other. And that gets old quick, just
Yeah.
talking to a blank.
Into the void, yeah.
So yeah, because I Justin asked me and I said, yeah, we'd like to, but see, we had to give so many disclaimers because when we did Cast the first time, the command staff, they said, hey, we heard you're doing a podcast. Like, yeah. They said, make sure you say you're not affiliated with us. I'm like, okay, thanks to you too. so
that's where you just create that bumper at the beginning. This show does not reflect the.
Oh yeah, well, especially now with Anchor or with Spotify or whatever they call it now. It's so nice with making Zoe's podcast now because I used to have to upload it into GarageBand, and I would have to put the bumpers on it, and then I would have to export it from GarageBand into a WAV file, and then I have to take that and put it on SoundCloud. Now I just drop the raw video in, put the 2 bumpers on, done.
And you can even save the bumpers in the library, so you don't even have to upload them each time. You just grab it and put it.
Yeah. So that's my I'm just trying to get my life back in order. I need to sell these pops. I'm like, my basement is because all the costumes were ripped out for Celebration and stuff like that, and so I have to get my basement back together, and I just got to get rid of all these things that are just getting in my way.
Hey, you still offer on the table for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I have him, and didn't you want what was the other one?
The duel on
the Razor Crest?
The duel or whatever. I have that one sitting aside for you, John. It's just I have to get to it.
Noted. Yeah, Ken wants the Razor Crest.
You know the Razor Crest?
So is Quinn still trying to buy the sail barge?
I don't know. He said he wanted it, so I'm not. That's the last stuff I got to get out. Like, there's a couple small cons that I'm debating on just setting up a table. And just,
well, we were at one. It was one recently where this guy came over into our costume section, and he opened up this bag as if he was a dealer on the corner. Said, "Hey, I got these Black Series figures. I'll sell them to you real cheap."
That's funny.
I don't have pockets. I mean, I have pouches, but they're filled with foam, so they're not even useful pouches. It's like I don't have any cash on me. Do you accept Republic credits?
We have, or those calamari,
the flan, calamari flan.
Yeah.
Those still give me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like the consistency or the texture of those.
Zoe got 2 of those at Celebration Anaheim.
Really?
Someone had just made it looked like they made a mold and then did them in a spongy rubber.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 of them floating around. I got to put it. I'm going to put them in the our Dijark box. So when we play, because we have all the Imperial credits, I got a giant sack of Imperial credits. So.
Yeah. Speaking of in-universe games, when I got back from London, my dad was showing me these things where someone gave him a metal AT-AT and a Millennium Falcon. We have no idea. They just happened to be in the barn, like dropped off for us by a volunteer. They also gave us the Sabacc deck from Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, nice.
So, because I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, cool, it's a Sabacc deck. And then I saw the Galaxy's Edge logo on the bottom. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't get these. I don't know if you can get them on the shop, but I know you can get them from Batu.
Yeah.
So I told him, like, look, I know our like strict stance on not opening things, but I want us to learn how to play Sabacc.
I downloaded the rules. Like, you have to go online and get them because it's basically like poker.
Yeah.
And then I printed a giant money bag full of Imperial credits. And then we just play it like poker. And then we have poker chips and everything. We have Star Wars Geek Girl. Have you ever seen the official Star Wars Geek Girl poker chips?
I have.
That used to be a Steel City thing. We'd play it down in the lobby.
God, I want to go back to Steel City so bad. It like the last, like seeing all the pictures from last month. I was like, God, I wish I could have been there, but
You were at Celebration, so
I was at Celebration. I can't complain too much. I love Steel City. Steel
yeah,
City is so much fun.
I just I can't. I can't go if I can't get a room there. I need a room. I'm spoiled. I need a room at the DoubleTree.
Yeah,
I'm just.
Yeah, so you got you complaining about the room you get. You got John comparing it to a Celebration. Like, man,
Well, no,
I gotta
look,
get what I gotta get to the Steel Con to see what this is all
it's.
about.
I would say if you compared it to Celebration, at certain times it's better because the tickets are like what $60 for 3 days.
if I thought there were
Yeah,
40.
$55 or $60 for 3 days. And if you buy the 3-day ticket, you get in early. If you stay at the DoubleTree, all the talent stays at the DoubleTree. If you don't mind hanging out at the bar, you are going to meet people by accident. You know, it's just. And the best part of the con's awesome because there's some vendors there that probably shouldn't be there because they have the same stuff for the last 10 years. But you can find some really cool treasures there. Like, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Steel City. It's one of those conventions where it's so like I don't want to say calm because the last couple times it's been pretty hectic, but like you get the big con feel at a smaller venue.
Yep. And at its heyday, they used to give Karita 2 hotel rooms and unlimited passes. And we would have 30, 40 people signed up.
Staying in the same hotel room, isn't that against
No,
regulation?
like we always bought it. We always got our own hotel room because the hotel room's like I think it's probably up to like $130 a night. You know, which isn't too bad. And in that hotel you can pack rooms, you know. So but the hotel it's just across the parking lot. Like you literally just walk like that video of us walking in, that was about half the walk there. You know, because
Yeah, it's depending on the costume you're wearing. I mean, it's 5 minutes.
if
Top.
Sappy can walk over in 000, I can't think of any other costume that's a pain in the neck.
Yeah,
Grievous,
Huh?
General Grievous.
Yeah, well, you know. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's definitely it's the Oaks any of those cons at the Oaks, the only thing the Oaks is missing is they don't have a hotel nearby. Like there's not a place to go when the con shuts down. You know what I mean? Like when they have what was the last one we were at the Oaks with the
Was
Joy?
it Brickfest or there was a kids thing there too? I thought.
I don't know, but the Oaks is the nice thing about the Oaks is you have so much space. Like you're never crowded in the Oaks unless they have stuff closed off because that's just humongous. But there's nowhere like the hotels are far away. So
Yeah, you definitely can't walk to them. Even if you wanted, reasonable food, you got to walk like a quarter of a mile across the 4 different parking lots and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, and at Steel City, you just walk across the other parking lot to the mall.
yeah.
Monroe,
Unless it's December and freezing cold, and then we just pack your van.
yeah. Well, if you go in the summer and you move your car from the hotel, you're not finding parking space because they don't give you reserve. You move your car, man. You're parking way out there. But
Yeah. Well, we had my dad and I when we went in December. Because we went on Saturday, we had to park at the. Okay, so you know how the mall is set up, and then it drops down where the Macy's is at. We had to park at the Macy's.
Yeah.
And Krennic and Kylo walking that, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna be walking like it's my wedding day.
Yep. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's definitely it. That's a definite one. Well, Marty's telling me Awesome Con's about the same. He said Awesome Con, the hotel's hooked right there, but it's further distant. I guess it's not further for me. It's probably closer, but money wise, it's it's different for me because I'm at that stage now where my girls work on the weekends. So when it was like a big family ordeal and we all went together, it was way different than if just I go. You know.
You should go to Contropolis in May. Chris Bartlett's going to be there.
Yeah, where's that at?
That's at Oaks.
Yeah, I might go. I might go to that just to see Chris.
They're going to have a handful of Star Wars actors.
Oh
Was
seven.
it? What'd you say, sorry?
I bought my Jawa robes from 07. Well, on TK409, he used to sell. This was back in 06, 07. If you were building a sand trooper, he sold, which he probably doesn't do anymore. He would sell high res photos of sand troopers on a DVD. Like you would, or you know what I mean? Because a lot of people didn't have ways to get high res photos. You know.
Well, high res back then was also like 480p. So
Hey,
But
man.
yeah, he had a whole
History.
like. Have you ever just go on TK409? That's his website. I don't
Is
know
it-
if it's still up and running, but
I think I've done this experiment before, and it looks like it's a blast out of 2003. Yep.
yeah, it has his Sand Trooper costume, his Tusken, his 3PO, his Jawa, and his Boba Fett.
Oof. Yeah, this is yep, straight out of 2003. I like the pictures though of like the before weathering and the after.
You know, his Sand Trooper's pretty good.
Yeah, that is a good Sandy. I still want to do a Sand Trooper. It's just I've got so much on my plate and not
Now you
wanting.
guys are starting to sound like me now. You guys are all judgy with me having all these projects, and
Look,
you're catching up.
the thing is though, at least for the most part, we're working on costumes for ourselves that we're just backlogging. You need it, Mike. You need another costume. You
I know.
have to finish Vader.
I know. I just have to submit my Sand Trooper. Marty just keeps telling me to submit my Sand Trooper, and I don't know. I kind of like having a Sand Trooper that's not in the Legion. So if I ever want to like do something that's not official, I can save anyone a headache from,
Yeah, but even if you did something in a TK that wasn't official, how are folks going to know that it's you?
Well, I'm sure.
You haven't been around Garrison Kurita people. When there's people out there to get me, I don't know why. I don't know what I ever did to tick some people off, but when if you haven't lived till you've read the elections, local elections in the 501st, because the same questions come up every election since I've been in. It's always now, what if there's always this what if you go in a strip club in your TK suit. A strip club asked you to do an unofficial event in your TK, because apparently people just go to strip clubs to see stormtroopers.
It's something about the cod piece.
That's always a question. Like it's like you'll have a candidate answer. Well, look, I believe in the 501st, but I also believe it's your costume, and as long as you're not doing something stupid, this and that. And then there's always a follow-up question. Well, what if a strip joint wants us to promote their strip joint in our armor? And it's just like it's
welcome to Sheev's Den.
yeah, it's just funny.
I feel like a lot of those questions can simply be answered with, would Lucasfilm be happy with this?
Right.
Would Disney drop the hammer on this?
It's just funny because
They've never dropped the hammer on Star Wars burlesque shows.
It's one of those absurd questions that no one's going to ask. Because honestly, Lucasfilm is more concerned about merch than what we do in our costumes. To be totally honest with you, you know what I mean? Like the merch rules are way more important to Lucasfilm than the other stuff. because most like what do you with the TK, what are you going to do? Once you put it on, you can't do much. You can't run. You can barely see. You know, so. But yeah, I got it. I'm slowly getting my stuff done. Vader is just. I'm honestly just hung up on Vader. Is just I got to get on all the electronic stuff, like the lighting and the one box. I put another coat of paint. And I ran out of the black paint, the Duplicolor, and I was just like, oh, I just don't feel like spending $17 on a can of paint right now.
Yeah. Have you decided on what you're going to do for a belt buckle?
Huh?
Have you decided what you're going to do for a belt buckle yet?
Yeah, I'm going to buy one, I think. I'm just going to buy one on Etsy. I have one 3D printed, and it's pretty smooth, but it's still just going to be painted plastic. So it won't take much for me just to accidentally scratch it up. So I'd rather, honestly, just 3D print the saber because I don't see myself carrying a lightsaber around.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to 3D print saber and have it hanging on my belt.
You're not going to recreate the hallway scene or anything like that?
No, I
Rogue One.
Myself more of a forceful. And I honestly, before I spend the money on a saber, I'd rather make sure I want a very good voice changer. Like that's my next big purchase. Is I want to be able to talk and it sound like Vader. I don't want recordings. I just want the voice sound, the sound effects.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Marty. Does Marty have a voice changer?
He does. They don't make them when he has anymore. So there's a couple on Etsy that I can buy that do pretty decent, and it just modulates and deepens your voice a little bit. So
yeah, that I would love to get one for Kylo, but there's nowhere to. First off, there's nowhere to hide the speaker.
Yeah.
Well,
in that costume.
There's a guy in the Pennsylvania group that we just trooped with. He has one, and so he managed to use it. I don't know how it worked or anything like that. And he even was joking around saying that he was getting clips of Kylo Ren from YouTube and comparing them to the voice changer that he was programmed. Like he seemed like he put a lot of work into it.
Well, there's some cool speakers out there. There's some real flat ones that you can actually hook to your helmet, and it makes the helmet the speaker.
Really?
Yeah, talk to Dan about it. Dan had something he hooks to his chest piece, and it makes the whole chest piece the speaker. It's just I forget, but there's also I forget how many millimeter model train speakers a lot of guys use. It's the same speakers they put in lightsabers.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
And like for yours, you could, since you have all that, like it's a little looser here.
Mm-hmm.
When the girls were Jawas, there was a speaker called a mini ball. It's about this big. They just wore them around their neck, and then they had Jawa sounds on their hand plate. But there are probably small speakers you can hang around your neck.
See, my only problem is that basket weave fabric is just so thick that I don't want it to be. I don't want it to sound like I'm talking like this the whole time. Yeah. Not to mention, the microphone's going to be the biggest thing that's going to kill me. You can do
a throat mic.
That's true. Because I was going to say, I'm taking up every inch of real estate inside that helmet as it is.
Yeah, you could do a throat mic, or you can do the little tan mics that tape to the side of your face.
Yeah.
The only thing I wouldn't do that for you because when you take your helmet off, you look like Kylo.
Right.
So a throat mic would probably be the better of the. And you could look at apps for your phone because I've seen guys with Vader or stormtroopers where they have their phone hanging in a case around their neck and it puts the static burst. They have a Bluetooth in their head and they just have their phone speaker turned up. Or if you have an old iPhone laying around, so you don't want your phone ringing in the middle of an event.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Lizzo's song comes on because that's what you have as your ringtone. Or Shakira's Hips Don't Lie.
Mike, were you? I don't know if you were at the celebration stage for the dance competition. Were you?
I was not.
Oh, you missed it. This guy, I took a small video of it, but this guy killed it to Shakira's Hips Don't Lie on the Celebration stage. That's totally off topic, but back to Vader, and kind of circling back to the Mandalorian. Am I the only one who noticed that Moff Gideon's undersuit is Vader's undersuit?
Oh, really?
And again, this could just be me looking too closely, and
How did you pay attention to the undersuit when you had the flashing Knight Rider red bars on his armor?
yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, because we watched it at because we watched the first or the 7th episode at Celebration. I watched it again when it came out, like for public release. I watched it again that morning, and then that weekend with my dad. And so I had all this time to analyze this costume, and I was looking, and I'm like, that is definitely ribbed leather with the same pattern as Vader.
Yeah.
So, because like the entire time I was thinking like, I want to do this costume, I want to do the Moff Gideon Dark Trooper, but then I saw that undersuit. I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I'm not spending $500 on an undersuit.
Well, keep an eye out for the Ruby's Darth Vader Deluxe.
I've seen a lot of those pop up, but it appears that nobody who's 5'9", 145 pounds seemed to buy one.
Oh, well, I because that's my undersuit is one of those,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have it. Like it's a one piece, but you also might check Joanne's in the Yaya Han section. She might make that material.
Really?
She makes a lot of cosplay.
She makes a lot of cosplay material that might look like that.
Say that again. Yaya Han.
Yaya Han.
Yeah, 2 YAYAHAHN, right?
Yeah. Did you ever watch the cosplay show she did? There was a.
I did
Did
not.
you ever watch the Heroes of Cosplay show?
It's the HAN, like Han Solo. Yaya. That's one word. YAYAHAN.
Yeah, she has a line of fabric that they sell at Joann's. She also sells, like, you can buy all the rubber or the foam too. She has brands of foam too.
Duly noted, because I will just take that to my seamstress and have her do all that. Because God knows I've tried using a sewing machine and never worked out for me.
That's a goal for this year. I'm gonna probably take a sewing class at Joann's because I feel like the sewing part is the easy part. It's the starting and stopping part. You know, like once it's going, I can go. It's just then I hand it off to Missy. Here, I'm done. Can you just finish up whatever you do so it doesn't unravel?
So considering that the last few weeks we've had Mandalorian madness, and that's been a big focus of our conversations, what do you want our next few episodes to be about?
Well, man, we got
because we haven't really talked about the Bad Batch. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but not much in depth.
Yeah, we should probably dedicate at least a show or two to the Bad Batch, from the animatics to where it is now, because there was a lot of the Dad Batch brought a lot of Bad Batch costumers to Celebration.
Oh yeah,
there was some. I saw a lot of techs.
Really?
And I harassed the hell out of everyone.
Yeah, look, it could not have been any more ironic that they had the cable cars visible from the Excel Center.
I was asking when I was taking their picture to point to the cable car.
With a sad face?
And then there was... I didn't see as many hunters as I thought I would.
Well, that's a commitment.
Wow, I saw more Echoes than I saw Hunter.
Yeah. And I
that's
only saw a few Wreckers.
I only saw the one from the Dad Batch. I didn't
saw
see
one
any of the
other
hunters.
Wrecker, and then
The
I
Wrecker.
saw. I don't think I saw any crosshairs except the Dad Batch.
A lot of Omegas, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of Omegas.
Complete with like the new hat and everything.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of the costuming videos yet from Celebration. I got to check those out.
I think a lot of those were shot on Monday.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple times you just couldn't take pictures. Like unlike celebrations in the past, Ken, you as much as you were hunting for costumes, you were hunting for spaces to take pictures of costumes. Like, oh look, there's Boba Fett. Wow, you're like 6 people deep, but then Monday it was wide open. Like there was a kid dressed in a beautiful Boba Fett armor, just standing by the AT-AT. He was just standing there by himself, and people were just rolling in to get pictures with him. Because there's just tons of space.
That's cool.
I did miss having a costume.
Yeah, that is the first convention I've ever gone to where I didn't wear a single costume.
Yeah. And I am still regretting that I didn't run with the prisoners.
Yeah.
But that was just poor timing of everything else. And
yeah, not to mention, freezing cold, having to trek back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And then those suits are paper thin.
Yeah.
That would have been I don't even want to know what the walk back would have been like.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you just put it in a backpack, and because now you wouldn't probably have everybody run with you.
No, we just sat down, and then I saw them gathering up, and I was like, oh, I forgot. I just forgot. I forgot it was that day.
Did you have it with you? It was in
the room, and I was just like, okay, I could rush back.
Yeah, no costume is ever going to do you any good when it's in the room.
It just seemed
unless you're going to a different kind of con.
Yeah, it just seemed like certain parts of the day, it seemed like time direct. Like when you're standing in the queue, it felt like, oh, how long have we been here? 15 minutes. How long have we been here? 20 minutes. It felt like you were there for hours. And then as soon as we got let out at like 11. And then it felt like I walked across the hall. What time is it? Oh, it's 2:30. Like, what? Because you're just like looking at all this stuff. And so we did all that. And I forget what Zoe was wearing. She's like, I just need to sit. So she sat. And then I was like, oh, crap. It's the running of the whatever. And I looked, and it was like I had an hour, which it took 20 minutes minimum to walk to the hotel and 20 minutes back. And then I was like, yeah, I can't race back to get, and I wish I would have, but.
Well, there's lots. I mean, we could do mini ones. I mean,
yeah.
I plan on bringing it to Fan Expo.
Yeah, I sent mine back to Amazon.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I didn't even open it. I was like, I'm just gonna send it back. So, because it was a paper thin one. I think if I get another one, I'll get a slightly better one.
Yeah, I plan on wearing it while I'm squiring.
There you go.
I still have a second prisoner costume coming.
Nice.
So.
Did you get one that was slightly larger than the last one?
No, the one that I ordered first is the one that I still haven't gotten.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to open a dispute with Amazon, like, hey, can we just cancel this? Like, first off, you said it was going to be here on March 29th, and it is April 19th. So,
well, did they say which year?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're like, oh, well, it's already shipped. It's in transit. I'm like, yeah, but it's been in transit.
By Novos.
It's been in transit for a month. So.
Oh, unrelated to any of this celebration talk, did you guys see the pictures Marty took of Safi?
Some
of them, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
My jaw hit the floor when I saw those.
I was amazed, like, because I was just used to him taking pictures with his phone, and I rarely get to see him take pictures like as a real photographer. And so he's like, hey, I want to test out some new shots. And Zoe had to work, so Safi threw on Fennec, and we went to Millersville. It's like right in the middle of the campus. So
How
Yeah,
far from the campus are you?
20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So,
I have to come up with some better poses for Kennex.
well, that's why you
I
got to
don't
get
have
married
that many.
because he tells you how to stand, and if when I'm looking at him like that's going to be a really dumb picture because you feel like you're standing like this, and then he takes the picture and you're like, whoa, you know, because he just knows composition like he's been doing it for 30 some years. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I plan
I
on
would.
bringing my Kennex kit to the film shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the film shoot's coming up soon too, isn't it?
I need to figure out if I'm actually going to be able to make it to that now, because apparently we have a golf outing for the rescue
Well, hey,
the next day. So
you know what, you've been well traveled, so I think you'll be fine
Yeah.
if you miss one. I'm at the point now. I'm looking forward to the filming and stuff, but I'm like, I want it to be done, and we move on to another thing.
well,
You
this is the third time we've filmed this shoot, so
Yeah.
yeah. I hope I'm able to make it out for that. Like if logistically it all works out, but at this point I'm pretty 50-50 on it.
Here's Marty's shoot.
Is that a cosplay Sky?
Yeah, cosplay
Yeah.
Sky with a crap printed helmet from Three Demon.
I don't know what you're talking
It was
about.
a
That
glowing helmet that I painted up when we did the. Here, let me get this out here.
God, your Facebook looks like mine, just with all
I
the
know.
open chat windows.
I know. There we go. Close all chats. There we go. Yeah, that's in front of the football stadium right there.
Hmm.
That's a sculpture in front of the football stadium.
Yeah. See, now you just need the rifle for it.
We have the rifle, but I didn't want to take it in the middle of campus.
Ah, good point.
Well, did
Good
you hear
point.
what happened recently in New Jersey?
Uh-uh.
Some guy was dressed as Boba Fett walking around carrying a rifle and got approached by the police because people called thinking that there was, someone walking around with an actual rifle and tactical armor.
I know. People are dumb.
Hey, that's Beskar.
sorry. That's like that's one of those things that like you should be culturally literate. Like when in Canada when they arrested that girl dressed in stormtrooper armor, remember that? They
Mhm.
put her on the ground. Did you ever see that video?
No.
It was a comic book store that had a girl dressed in a TK armor, and the cops came and put her on the ground and everything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that video, that was intense. And I mean, like, look, if it were like even like a custom Mandalorian that looked tactical, but come on, Stormtrooper and Boba Fett. How are you? How far under a rock are you living that you don't know that those are two iconic characters?
Well, and the scary part in our country, in some states you can just walk around with a gun and it's okay. But it's funny because we did a Barnes and Noble in the middle of Pennsylvania years ago, and the cops got called because there was a custom Mando with a blaster, and he basically had a modified clone, the big long clone blaster.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't go outside because it got the public scared.
Jesus Christ!
Central PA, probably half the people's cars had guns in them, but we couldn't go outside because of that. So yeah, it is weird, that's where we're at. And in England, John, you remember they had all that stuff. Make sure your guns have orange plugs on them and all this stuff. And they didn't check any of that. Like they're just
Not
people
a
walking
single
around.
one.
Huh?
I didn't see a single person with a prop check.
Nope. Yeah,
I
they
had to
didn't-
get my pole sword prop checked when I went to Fan Expo last year.
yeah, because that zip tie is going to keep you from beating someone upside the head with it.
Yeah, because it's just a big
I-
stick. It's a big plastic ended stick.
When I went to GalaxyCon in December, I had to get my lightsaber prop checked. I immediately cut that off.
Well, see, I felt at Celebration Anaheim, they were doing the lightsabers almost as a gag. Like they were it was more just as a tongue in cheek, we got to check your weapon.
Mhm.
I felt like. But yeah, like they didn't check Zoe's blasters because they ran us through the machines that picked up. The only thing that was setting off the detectors in London were the juice packs, the battery packs for your phone.
Which I still question if it was quantity, because I had that little shoulder.
I had
shoulder
3
bag.
of them sitting together, so that's probably what it was picking up.
And you didn't carry them through in your hand or anything like that. You
I
left them in
did
your bag.
after the first time I did. The first time I just carried,
Yeah, because I learned that at Disney World. When I had it in my bag, they made a big deal out of it. But when I had it carry in my hands,
Yeah.
come on through.
I
Well,
literally never got
too.
stopped.
I think they got, because I was always with Sabine, so once they saw us, they started just letting us through.
Yeah, I didn't get stopped a single time, and I had a gallon Ziploc bag full of swag and coins, and then I had my two juice packs. I had abundance of cords. Never got stopped a single time.
Yeah.
Well, because Mike, I was telling you while we were there, like Dad and I got season tickets to the Browns. They have those exact same X-ray machines that they just kind of, because I, being the curious person that I am, I was glancing over their shoulder. All it does, it's just a live feed, and it'll put a red square over top of your bag if if it flags something in there. So it's nothing. It's not like at the airport where it's a straight up X-ray machine,
Yeah.
but it still can tell suspicious equipment from just anything else like metal.
Yeah.
So because we used to have to empty our pockets and all this, hold your wallet, phone, keys, all that above your head. Now it's just walk right through,
Yeah.
and they'll flag you if there's something wrong.
I think they got better as the con went on too.
Mhm.
I think we got the B crew on Friday, but I think the crew got a little better by the end of the con. So
Yeah, I love how we did a whole episode last week on Celebration,
and we're still
and we're still
it's
talking about it.
burnt into my brain.
Well, for me, it's like a wedding. Someone goes to a wedding and they talk about it for months afterwards.
Do you ever hear any more about your Star Wars wedding that we did the other?
Yes, it's funny that you mentioned that because when I had talked to her shortly afterwards about possibly putting together that little article for the Insider magazine, she was a little hesitant. She liked the idea, but she wasn't so sure. She has since talked to her wedding photographer and got permission from the wedding photographer to use some of the photos in that. So I'm going to send her. I'm going to bump into her hopefully this week and see if I can actually get some of those photographs to go along with that thing that I put together. I just have to find where I wrote it down. I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't save it electronically. I just hand wrote it on a yellow pad like George did all his movies on.
That's good though.
So
I just need to see someone in Star Wars Insider that I know. It's been a while. No, I think there was 6 months. At least one of my kids were in Star Wars Insider every month. So
yeah, I think that's a great place to wrap up our week. So I'll work on getting at least 2 of the 3 of us into Insider, and if we can never get to an event together, we definitely have to submit something to Insider.
yeah,
We got plenty of time. We'll get to an event together at some point. I'm just the outlier here.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm the one of the one of the trio that didn't go to Celebration. So,
we'll let you slide this time. All right, I'm gonna run the outro and then we'll finish up.
See.
I used to put my faith in starships, but then my Falcon's hyperdrive just slipped. I used to worry about the future, but then I threw my caution to the wind. I had no reason to be carefree, no, 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 until I took a trip to the treetop side of town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I heard that wicked rhythm. Hey, I had no choice but to